We still, y'all listening. We still don't have a welcome here. Welcome to the show. This is who. I mean, this Stain and Solo. That's all we got right now. That the intro and all that stuff will come, but right now we want to. We were sitting down anyway. Shit, we've been trying to sit down. It's almost 3 o'clock. We've been trying to sit down all day, but
Right.
once in a while talking about RPGs. I've been thinking about. A lot of reasons why I've been thinking about RPGs really lately is one. It's around the time for my yearly playthrough. One of my favorite RPGs is Breath of Fire 3. And almost once a year, I put a couple hours on it and I play through it. For those of you guys who don't know, I got it up, don't I? Yep. For those of you guys who don't know, Breath of Fire 3 is a classic 2D sprite game from Capcom, released on the PlayStation 1, with original games released on the Super NES. Well, I want to say Breath of Fire was NES, Breath of Fire 2 was Super NES, Breath of Fire 3 PlayStation. Great game.
Yeah.
It's about a kid named Ryu who wakes up one day, finds out he's one of the last remaining dragons. He forms a bond with some friends, and some shit goes awry, and he goes on this mission to find them and discover ultimately who he is, i.e., the Dragonborn. Amazing game, dope ass fucking game. Dying for a remake. It got a lot of votes. Not this year. Last year, Capcom did or maybe it was at the beginning of this year. Capcom did I wish we were talking at the beginning of this year too, man, because you would have been you would have loved this fucking survey that they had. Basically went over their entire lineup and asked you to pick and choose between multiple categories on which of their franchises needed a revamp. The fucking, Breath of Fire was up there, Monster Hunter, Onimusha, the you know, Resident Evil, all Super Ghouls. Was it Super Ghouls and Ghosts? I don't think that's one. I'm thinking something else. But all of the games were, for the most part, and Breath of Fire 3 itself, the franchise itself got huge numbers here in America and over there. So I'm hoping there's some kind of on the horizon. When Capcom recently did their anniversary thing, they had a bunch of fucking new art from Breath of Fire. And I followed one of the artists that drew a lot of the Breath of Fire characters on Twitter. And he's been posting a lot of fucking new art. Not necessarily Breath of Fire, but almost, you know, comparable. So anyway, so it's almost every summer, around midsummer or whatever. So coming up, I sit down and I play Breath of Fire 3, start to finish. No, and one of these years I need to use my my gold save, but I just start a brand new one just to go. I've been doing it for 20 some odd years out, because you remember I was playing this thing on PSP on deployment. So
yeah.
So that's why I'm starting. That's my top favorite, near and dear to me. My cousin Zero, he turned me on to this game and a lot of other RPGs that I love. So that's the one I'm starting out. What's your favorite one? The one that's popping in your head right now.
See, my favorite one is my favorite RPG of all time is Final Fantasy 3. It's Final Fantasy 3 in America, Final Fantasy 6 in Japan. So this is Final Fantasy.
Okay, is this one of the first ones you played?
This is probably the first one that I played nearly all the way through. Never got to finish.
That's a stream goal right there, my guy. So just gonna put that out there.
All right. So listen, what people don't understand about Final Fantasy is that it's the first Final Fantasy that you could do multiplayer, and the last one in that era. So, for example, if I had a Super Nintendo, and we had two controllers. one of my brothers that play RPGs with me, he grabbed the other controllers, but it only became, I should say, you only controlled it with the second player if it was on the world map and if it was in combat. So in combat, this RPG in particular, you had 4 people, turn-based, and I could
the
give
second
my
player
brother
control the player in battle. Okay.
You give them 2 players or 1 player, depending on who you liked, that you didn't like. So, and then that was one of the I don't know why they went away from this format that quick.
I
But
do
it was
think
like,
a lot of co-op RPGs would have hit back then because I don't think they really understood that we wanted it.
Oh man,
because a lot of the
this
Tales
was it.
games themselves, they let you control other characters, but they focus on battle. Like, man, I want to be doing 2 different things, and we got to hit levers at the same time and shit.
And that those are the things that, like, Baldur's Gate, for example, remedies. But Baldur's Gate is based on a whole different style of RPG. We also have to give credence to the fact that a lot of the Japanese RPGs that we grew up on were based on Japanese storytelling, and a lot of the modern storytelling is a little bit different. Storytelling now is, I want to say, it's evolved in different ways, but there's more of a visual. There's more equity given to visuals in RPGs now, rather than just hardcore storytelling. Because Final Fantasy VI was one of those RPGs, man, where there was, like, I think at the time there was never been a Final Fantasy with that many playable characters, and in this RPG in particular is when I got introduced to the idea of character death. Like,
and this, what happened when your character didn't get revived? I didn't play this. So my first one was 8, and then I went back to 7.
No, well, all right. So I should clarify. Not that I didn't see characters die in RPGs. As far as like getting a game over or something like that, or you got Phoenix Down.
Well, no, I meant like I think I was taking you more meant once your character in your party's gone, they gone.
No, and they've in other RPG makers in the industry have done that, but this is what I'm talking about, and they actually do that in Baldur's Gate as well, which we'll discuss probably in another episode. But when you're playing, and that's an honor mode thing in Baldur's Gate, but what I'm talking about is, like, for example, they'll introduce a character in I hope I'm not giving any spoilers. This game is old enough that they let you control a character briefly. His name is General Leo, right? And depending, if you get them, this guy gets taken out in an underhanded way, but he's practically the strongest character in the game. You only get to see him but once, like, or and then there's a part where, like, you can sacrifice a character for the betterment of the team, for a quicker escape, something like that. And if you don't do it, if you don't wait around, you lose them forever. You know what I mean? And I never ran into something like that. Like, the story dictated you had to make decisions. You know what I'm saying? And certain things were locked in the plot. You found out about, like,
so when you hit those. I mean, as a kid, I imagine hitting young guy. As a kid, I imagine that we didn't think like that to go back and redo a whole 2-hour segment to save a character. So we kind of just kept it. I imagine we kept it moving.
Oh, dude, I wiped a tear in the silence of the light of my tube television. You know what I'm saying? Because that's back then when your television had more back than front. If you know what I mean. But yeah.
So what always kept you from beating it? Just time?
Not just time. So when there's a part in the game where the world goes to crap. Like, the bad guy gets all powerful. He ends like the world, pretty much. So it's called the World of Ruin. And in the World of Ruin,
I am listening.
It's like extreme. It's totally extreme. It's totally extreme. It's like Wasteland. It looks like, RPG version of Mad Max. People are like, making do with whatever they can. Humanity's been reduced to almost nothing. I mean, and then the game becomes very, even for a kid, it was like the most depressing thing. Because yeah, it was, dude. I didn't know how to carry on, man. And because the world's like destroyed, like, and you don't even know where to go with it. But it's the deepest game. Maybe I'll stream it. I'll get it, for one of the systems that I got.
Oh yeah, you got your laptop there. We'll talk about. Yeah, don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I'll stream it. Maybe we'll try to see if they can do a 2-player thing. It'd be fun to play with somebody, but.
Yeah, because you remember I told you there's this thing called Parsec. Oh, sorry, I gotta do this. There's this thing called Parsec that like we install on computers, just like Discord. We install it, and it basically lets you control the other person's computer as an input, specifically for designated program. So yeah, we could play like old school like couch co-ops 2-player games and shit on whatever. It'd be cool as shit.
Yeah, man.
I'm trying to think. I was thinking of this one, and I talk about this one all the time. Parasite Eve. Parasite Eve is probably one of the most, in my opinion, one of the biggest slept on franchises. Like with everything going on these days about wanting to see strong female protagonists and things or whatever, I am completely surprised that this gets looked over every single time. We go back to Tomb Raider all the time. We go back to shit, that's a big one. They just keep redoing Tomb Raider. There's not a whole, a lot of series have their famous ones, and they keep getting their remakes. But Parasite Eve, you play a detective. Is Aya Brea? Bray. But great RPG. There's magic. There's body armor. You shooting grenade launchers. You're literally a FBI detective, FBI agent who learns out that she's part of this whole thing about this one entity wanting to basically wipe out humanity. And she's got to use whatever she can while learning the history of where, her and this, this entity is connected. Great. Second one was a little wild, in my opinion, as far as like story wise, because it went more like, bio weapon and type thing or whatever, but it was okay. The third game was just crazy because it was just all over the place. Time travel, you were jumping through bodies and shit like that. It was a lot. But this series could use a huge reboot.
See, yeah, I would do Parasite Eve, but you know what happened with Parasite Eve? It got caught up in trying to compete with Resident Evil.
I agree. It didn't take off as much as I think they. I can see them make it, but it was a lot different to me. Like I didn't look at them.
It's zombie adjacent. Like so would you consider Parasite Eve a zombie game? I mean, you fought zombies.
I would classify Parasite Eve as more of a supernatural type game more than a survival horror.
That's a poll. Well, I'm not even questioning if it's survival horror. I want to know if it's a zombie game because we definitely know that Resident Evil is a zombie game.
I wouldn't classify. I wouldn't try and classify this. I wouldn't classify this as a zombie game. Like there are. I'm just. I'm going back. Yeah, I see him, and that's why I'm going to say there are zombie-like creatures that show up in this game. Yes, but as you see, like it's more DNA mutation than
which
zombies.
is Parasite. Well,
Okay, which in a degree, if you were to talk about what a zombie is, it's any undead creature, which I would imagine killing a humanity and creating a new creature would, by definition, create a zombie. But no, I wouldn't classify it as zombie.
It's just strange, right? Because there's things that mimic zombies in a way, shape, or form, but they're not necessarily like. If you let's look at the antagonists in Parasite Eve. Like, let's break those down, because the thing is,
actual Eve. Eve is this lady right here for everyone. Her name is Eve.
Right, right. This fixes the eye. But yeah, let's see like a regular bad guy, because I think it's easy to point out Eve by herself. That's like pointing out Alice or something.
I talk about okay. I get that.
Parasite Eve, like enemies. So
yeah, so that's what I was saying. Like they're zombie adjacent rats in the museum. There's the T-Rex and stuff like that, but there's an alligator at some point. A lot of these these Parasite Eve 2, like Parasite Eve 2 went more biological. See, this was the alligator, so it's more like not so much undead. It's more bio mutant than
what are the dogs then? What are the dogs
so that's why I was classify them as okay. Let's look at this. Let's do this. Definition of zombie. Typically refers to a mythical or a fictional creature or a reanimated corpse that is often depicted as mindless and driven to consume flesh. So
fictional causes.
I get the adjacent with the brainless, basically undead, basically dead to the world, but I think zombies are.
We had zombie rats. We had zombie rats in.
Because there's zombie rats, there's zombie dogs, and I can't say too much about. Do we consider a liquor a zombie or a biomutation? Do we consider the
Nemesis
or Nemesis a zombie or a bio? Okay, so I get what you're doing. I will say adjacent, yes, because we're looking at things that are it's
very fantastical. Like
adjacent.
It's because the thing is, the RPG element is the throw off, right? I think the RPG element makes it a little different because when you're playing a zombie game, right, you have to focus on I can only waste this many bullets because what happens after this dog, or I wasted this many bullets on the liquor but in an RPG, right, they have HP.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're right. Whether or not the rat got a HP bar and you take turns to kill it, or a well-placed grenade round shot, at the end of the day, did you still kill a mutated rat? Okay. Okay. Let's see. What's the second best RPG you can think that come to mind? Parasite Eve wasn't my second best. Parasite Eve was my.
It's a cult classic. Man.
It's one of my cult classics. I'm leaning more towards one of the Tales games or Final Fantasy VIII being my second, but I'm also
eight was the next generation of RPG.
Eight was me being in that mode when I was playing it, teen angst. So I identify with Squall and what, just being moody and shit like that. But
yeah.
Another good one that I was seeing, I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called Thousand Arms.
Hell yeah.
Thousand Arms was
Thousand Arms.
this game made by Atlas. You play as this guy named Mice or Meese, and you basically got ran out of you're a spirit blacksmith. You get run out of your town, and you need to go and you basically basically trying to find people and figure out what you're gonna do in your life, and you're trying to fix your family's heirloom sword. And so, in order to do that, you got to get this special ore, and you find out later on that because you're a spirit blacksmith, the best way to get spiritual power is you date girls. You date your party members, you date people from different random towns that you go to in order to create different weapons and imbue your weapons with that girl's spiritual power. Because one girl might have a fiery attitude, but guess what? That's her fire spirit. One girl, might be, firecracker. So she's lightning. I don't know. I don't know why I said firecracker, but you know what I mean. Like they all have different elements and different stuff like that. So it behooves you to date whoever's in their areas. But it was pretty fun. It's one of those games that probably wouldn't fly today. But for example, like this one right here, Pretty Women Should Be Embraced by a Man, Come Jump in My Arms. Like that's tame. That's tame compared to like and his father's it's a lot. So it's a little raw. It's an adult game, a little raunchy. But
the thing is,
the gameplay
this game
and story outside of it are pretty fucking fantastic, in my opinion.
Have you ever heard? No, I agree. I played the game before. It's you invoked memories. It was. Have you ever played Arc the Lad?
Arc the Lad, yes. Arc the Lad reminds me of Alundra. I played a lot of Alundra too. I've only played the first one of these.
I played Arc the Lad. I played up until I didn't play Twilight.
Maybe not. I play a newer. I think I play a newer version. But go ahead.
No, these games they had like where you could have like he had kids and stuff like that. Like these type of games too. Like, but like or they had Generations at Mead.
That's a fucking. You ever played this one? There was a Alundra 2 that came out too, but it was basically similar to that first Arc the Lad. Oh, maybe not. This looks different. But we'll have to see. I think another one that I really enjoy or had enjoyed a lot when I was a little kid. Let's see, Final Fantasy Tactics. That's an easy one. What was the one about Skies of Arcadia? Amazing Dream class game. You're a pirate. Battle system was pretty fucking fun. Let's see what else. Pirate RPG PS2. Rogue Galaxy. That's the one. This was a really fun game. I never beat it, but I do remember having a ton of fun. That's another one. Mantra J RPG. Mantra. JRPGs. I don't know exactly which one that was. Well, nice, quick, and easy.